hear from Jim Dolan, because in an interview that ran in the New York Times this week, the owner of the New York Knicks, James Dolan, he discussed his family empire, including the team who calls the world's most famous arena home. And this is what he said. This is just a portion that made my eyebrows go. Can you raise an eyebrow, Zach?
I can do two. I can't do one. Not The Rock.
I can do one, but I can't do the wave that The Rock can do. This is what James Dolan said. He said he considered expanding his sports portfolio, perhaps by buying a baseball or soccer team. But while the Knicks and Rangers are, quote, near and dear to my heart, I really don't like owning sports teams, calling the economics of Major League Sports kind of sleepy, and he ruled out that option. So Dolan also went on to say that, quote, being a professional sports owner in New York, you're not beloved until you're dead. So, Zach, you're kind of New Yorker-ish, suburban now, New York. Let's comfort the until you're dead piece of it, right? What makes you optimistic, potentially, about the New York Knicks today in this moment?
First of all, I'm so sad for James Dolan that he's not beloved and isn't enjoying being a billionaire who controls major portions of New York City. I'm very sad.
You want a tissue?
I'm not beloved. How many people are actually beloved? No one's beloved. You're never going to be beloved. The Knicks. Okay, the Knicks. They won a playoff series. They demolished the Cleveland Cavaliers. They competed hard against Miami in the second round. If I'm a Knicks optimist, Philadelphia, they're a mess. Milwaukee, facing some pressure. Boston, got to reinvent themselves around Kristaps Porzingis, some injury-prone guys. Miami still doesn't have Damian Lillard. They got Miami. They got hashtag heat culture, Jimmy Butler, and Bama. They don't have Damian Lillard yet. Why not? Why can't we wake up in May and the New York Knicks are in the conference finals? Maybe not the finals. That might be a little much. But why not the conference finals? This is a good, deep team, well coached. They're going to grind defensively. The big obstacle for the playoffs, though, assuming they get back, is Julius Randle's got to play better. He's 34% from the field career for the playoffs. He's been twice. He shot poorly both times. That's the next level for him and them. But title, finals, that's a little much.
I'm sorry.
They got picks galore for
those are the breaks.
Transactions. But why not conference finals? Why not?
Those are the breaks, Zach. Do they need to be pumped, Brian, or are the Knicks going to the conference finals?
I don't know about the conference finals, but Zach's point is... I just want us to clip off that thing where Zach says he's not beloved. I want to keep that around. We could use that again. Let's keep an eye on that. I think the thing about the Knicks that you want to be optimistic about is they're upwardly mobile. Regardless of whether they are in the 3rd seed or 4th seed or 5th seed like they were last year, the draft picks that they have at their disposal and the contracts that they have on their roster, in my view, they don't have a bad contract on their roster. All of their contracts that they have signed under Leon Rose, maybe with the exception of Evan Fournier, but that's now at the end, so it becomes tradable. All of those contracts are movable. They can play with this team and be competitive in the East, or when a star player becomes available, they can pivot and go after it. In fact, I think one of the challenges for the Knicks off the court over the next 12 to 18 months is to control themselves and wait for the player that they want to go all in for. They showed great discipline in not going crazy on the bidding for Donovan Mitchell last year. They ended up beating Donovan Mitchell in the playoffs. So this is what I think about the Knicks. They have the ability to greatly improve this team. And I know this has been said for the last decade. And I can't, make up or cover up all the times when they could have gotten star players and haven't gotten the deal done. That is true. But it is possible for them to be a good team and trade themselves into a great team.
Well, Malika, the purpose of this article that you're referencing and talking about was to promote the Sphere.
Yes.
And one could argue that the Sphere has been the best thing for the Knicks the last few years because it's created Dolan to distance himself, to focus on this project, to immerse himself, which allowed no nonsense, no distraction basketball, no antics, no public situations between fans and the ownership. That made it more attractive. You just focused on hooping now. We didn't have all of those ancillary stories that emerged from ownership. And what happened? You got a no-nonsense coach. You got no-nonsense players. You got Jalen Brunson. And to address your point, Zach Lowe, yes, Julius Randle has to take better steps towards his offense. But that guy is up there with the Iron Man every year. I know he was bummed out to miss out on the last few games, but he's usually on the floor for most, if not 99% of the NBA season. So that Sphere has been great. And lastly, I'll mention this, y'all. This segment has been wild. We got crocodile tears. We got eyebrows. We got, what was that, Zach? Like, I can't believe that. I can't believe that.
And then we found the happiest photo of James Dolan we could find just now. It's the biggest smile we could possibly get.
Shout out to our
look how happy he is.
On that one.
I love owning the Knicks. Look how happy he looks owning the Knicks.
In a recent interview, he casted a little bit of doubt on whether or not he would commit to the franchise long term.
I want to win. I have to do whatever it takes for me to win, and if there's a better situation for me to win the Larry O'Brien, I have to take that better situation.
That right there was the most important thing that happened in the NBA this summer.
This is just the reality of a star in the NBA.
The front office should be nervous, the fan base should be nervous, and everybody in the city of Milwaukee should be nervous.
We are 1 day away from Giannis Antetokounmpo officially becoming extension eligible. But please, Bucks fans, do not be too alarmed if and when he does not sign, because he stands to make $61 million more if he waits until next offseason. So all of us, let's take a breath. But remember, Giannis isn't alone. Take a look at some of the other notable players that have yet to sign extensions despite being eligible. I'm talking about Donovan Mitchell. You can see the list right here. Klay Thompson, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Bam Adebayo. You can see the full list on your screen of stars that could put pen to the paper. So memorize it, look at it. Which ones are going to affect your team? As I ask you, Brian Windhorst, who is the one name on this list that every NBA fan should have their eyes on?
Yeah, so let's hear what Donovan Mitchell has to say at Media Day when he is asked about this. He is in the exact same situation that Giannis is in. He has 2 years left on his contract, but he is eligible to extend now. And unlike Brandon Ingram or Jamal Murray or Pascal Siakam, he is not eligible to get the Supermax. Those other guys cannot sign and legitimately say, I'm going to try to make All-NBA this year to try to get more money. Because Donovan was traded, that's off the table. Now, I do not expect him to sign an extension with the Cavs this summer, nor do I expect that to cause a major alarm. I expect him to go into next year. But the way that he handles discussing it is important. Because look at the way Giannis has chosen to talk about it. On his own volition, several times this summer, he has basically made it known that his future in Milwaukee is not assured. How Donovan answers that question and explains his decision process will be very important for the Cleveland Cavaliers, their fans, and potentially other teams out there who may be interested in making a trade for Donovan Mitchell at some point to listen to. My expectation is Donovan, who's a total pro, will handle this like he did in Utah, which was pledge his undying love to the Jazz, but also keep his options open. We'll see. That's going to be one of the big things to watch on Media Day.
Particularly when you remember that, oh yeah, Donovan Mitchell had been looking at, potentially talking about some other teams, not necessarily where he ended up, the Cleveland Cavaliers. Zach, who do you have your eye on?
Pascal Siakam. The Raptors are at something of a crossroads, kind of straddling two paths at once. They're built to win a decent amount of games now with some veteran talent, but they're also going to turn over more of the offense and more of the team to Scotty Barnes, who had such a sensational rookie season, slightly disappointing sophomore season. Where does that leave Pascal Siakam, who's 29 and eligible for a huge extension and is a two-time All-NBA player? If the Raptors decide this season or maybe going forward that they have a chance to get a veteran star from another team one way or another, whoever that might be, then you probably want to keep Pascal Siakam around because you want to win today. If not, then a decision time is coming one way or another. There were trade rumblings earlier this offseason. Atlanta was mentioned a lot. Those have kind of died down. It's all quiet on the Siakam front right now, but that's a big bellwether for the Raptors and maybe the rest of the league.
All right, now it's time for us to go coast to coast. Oh, hey, Trae Young. Well, we're going to start with you because his assists have gone up in every season in his career. He tweeted that 11 assists a game, that was in sight for him, he felt like. And by the way, that would have led the league last year. Zach, you think Trae can do it?
I'm going to go no, just because with DeJounte Murray sharing the ball, that feels like a lot. But I am bullish on the Hawks. They're an interesting team this year. I'm picking them to make the playoffs. It's a kind of a prove-it year for this group and this combination of guards. It could go the other way. They have some big contracts that they can look to trade if it's not going well. But I think they're good. Go Hawks.
Interesting. Well, what about Paolo Banchero and the Orlando Magic? Because head coach Jamal Mosey said on the Hoops Hype podcast that Paolo Banchero is a combo of Jason Tatum, Carmelo Anthony, and LeBron James. Chiney Ogwumike, your fellow Rookie of the Year here. How should he handle those expectations?
Say that, but I think he's a dream rookie. What did he just do? Average 20 points per game, the second most under Shaq in the Magic organization. He had a great showing with Team USA. All he needs to do is win. I may not be bullish like Zach, but I'm very high on the Magic for developing prospects like Paolo.
Interesting. Well, what about Kawhi Leonard? Thank you for that laugh there. KTLA's Clippers clipboard. He told them that bringing Russell Westbrook back is, quote, going to be big for us. So, Brian, how big of a role do you expect Russ to have here?
Well, I don't know. Russ, I don't know if he, thrives in the way the Clippers need to play to win, but I'll tell you this. Kawhi Leonard and Paul George were advocates to get Russ onto that roster last year. They talked the organization into giving him a chance. Russ took advantage of it. There's a lot of trust and credibility between those star players.